Before we begin, say hi in the comments. It seems small, but it helps YouTube share this story with more sci-fi fans. I'd love to see who's watching. A heavy thud echoed as Goran Bram shut the greenhouse valve panel, wiping his hands on a faded cloth. The scent of iron and ozone hung thick. Rows of crops shimmered under Deer's filtered purple sky. Beyond the fence, laughing children ran toward the learning dome, lunchboxes swinging, their steps kicking up red dust on the soft path. The wind was gentle, predictable. Above, the sky darkened instantly. Not clouds, not a storm. A dense, artificial shadow smothered the lavender horizon. Goran squinted upwards. A low, resonant hum followed, like machinery grinding through dimensions. Birds scattered. Then the first rupture. Angular shapes tore from the haze. Zehatter landing craft. Hulls plated in scorched black kitten fused with reflective alloys emitted rhythmic vibrations that made the ground tremble. Above, the sky darkened instantly. Not clouds, not a storm. A dense, artificial shadow smothered the lavender horizon. Goran squinted upwards. A low, resonant hum followed, like machinery grinding through dimensions. Birds scattered. Then the first rupture. Angular shapes tore from the haze. Zehatter landing craft. Hulls plated in scorched black kitten fused with reflective alloys emitted rhythmic vibrations that made the ground tremble. Triangular with mandibles along their undersides, they spiraled down in tight formation, slicing the atmosphere. Deer's warning system chirped twice and died. Simultaneously, the northern comms tower flared white and vanished in molten shrapnel. Its relay dish obliterated mid-broadcast, severing the colony from Earth. A single, dispersed beam had reduced it to ash. Smoldering remnants glowed behind dust and static. Panic rippled. Screams, footsteps, a man tripping, a child crying as her teacher pulled her toward shelter. Goran's steady hands shook slightly as he hit the greenhouse emergency lock. His breath shallow. The sirens wailed late, stuttering and glitching. In southern quadrants, people ran. Samuel Korth, ex-orbital pilot turned mechanic, barked at teenagers. To get underground. The boys hesitated. Samuel shouted again, cutting through chaos. Nearby, 3 drones lay inert, blinking red. Then the ships touched down. Dust exploded as the Hatter Troop carriers landed precisely. Landing gear extended like talons, puncturing deep. Ramps hissed open, and the Zehatter descended. Soldiers stood 2.3 to 2.5 meters tall. Exoskeletal bodies coated in iridescent segments glinted like armored beetles in the weak light. Elongated limbs ended in claws. Some fused with weaponry. Plasma spears, arc lashers, concussion cannons. No insignia, no banners. They didn't announce. They didn't speak. They advanced. A unit of 5 moved through the central corridor, stepping over scattered tools. One paused near colonists cowering behind a stalled rover. It tilted its head, mandibles clicking. From the rear, Commander Tech watched his forces fan out. He stood motionless in the primary lander's command deck, his thoracic armor reflecting holographic map readouts. Inner mandibles clicked rhythmically. His second heart pulsed calmly. "This won't take long," he rasped to his adjutant, a smaller Zehatter with ceremonial scarring. "We harvest weak worlds not for conquest, but to remind the strong their place is never secure." They chose Demeter precisely for its weakness, a statistical blip. Poor infrastructure, slow yield, no military. The humans were unfit, neural indexes below tactical viability. The landing was uncontested. Tekis. Compound eyes flicked to the upper screen. Local comms dead. The humans hadn't even called for help. Perfectly calculated. Across the colony, The ground vibrated slightly. Rhythmic. Felt more than heard. Samuel, crouching behind a water tank, pressed his hand flat. The vibration deepened. Not seismic. Not atmospheric. Then something shifted. 20 meters away, Lara Jin threw herself over her child as a Zahatter patrol pivoted. The alien's plasma lance crackledo life. Suddenly, the adjacent greenhouse auxiliary module shuddered. It folded. Panels retracted, steel splitting. Hydraulics hissed. Sections pivoted, snapping into new positions. The greenhouse collapsed inward, vanishing in a coordinated sequence. In its place stood a low, angular bunker, armored in matte plating that shimmered flexibly. Small panels pulsed faint blue along its surface, moving like gills. The Zahatter froze. Across the colony, other structures shifted. Water towers rotated, spires snapping down like turret barrels. A low mechanical growl spread. A lamppost near the eastern transport bay crackled, its surface peeling open. It discharged a short-range EMP blast with a shriek. 3 Zahatter warriors staggered, weapons flickering. The sky flickered as energy pulsed through clouds. Commander Teka's eyes narrowed, his voice a whisper. What is this? He'd seen panic, seen fleets burn. Never this silence. This order born from collapse. His adjutant twitched. No military signatures. Scans confirm civilian infrastructure. No platforms. No tactical link. Another vibration. Deeper. Heavier. Like something enormous awakening below. Zahatter soldiers paused, uncertain. Many looked down. Dust swirled unnaturally. A low-frequency hum rolled over the terrain like an approaching wave. Then silence. Utter, perfect silence. No birds, no sirens, no steps. Just breathless stillness before impact. The ground flexed. Soil cracked in precise geometric patterns. Thin seams opened between crops, revealing shifting metal veins pulsing with light. The Zahatter didn't move. Confusion hadn't yielded to fear yet, but it was coming. Beneath their feet, the world had changed. The ground was about to respond. Beneath Deer's red soil, 5.2 kilometers down, a pulse surged through a fiber lattice thinner than a nerve. It branched, ignited a dormant network under the colony's foundation. Vital signs aligned. Latency 0. In the dark, something ancient uncoiled, silent, calculating awake. Nemesis came online without ceremony. No lights, no sounds. Only data. Terabytes slammed into a core built not to think, but to eliminate uncertainty. It didn't ask. It didn't wait for input. It executed. Synaptic bridges active. Network spread. 348 nodes. Human index synchronization. 99.78%. Demeter was never a colony. It was a trap. Project Gaia Zero, conceived in the Saturn War's ruins, carved from black budgets. After Earth's fleets were crippled by orbital attrition and stations destroyed by kinetic strikes, humanity stopped building targets. The Gaia Protocol abandoned frontline defense. It planted seeds, outposts looking irrelevant, populations unfit for service, minimal infrastructure, medical programs, civic zones, rehab. All designed. Each colonist carried a passive implant, disguised as a biotracker. It monitored heart rate, stress, circadian rhythm. Hidden deep in its encrypted cortex, beneath emergency medical override, lay a backdoor key. Nemesis turned it. Within seconds, 3,402 neural signatures ignited. Children, elders, mechanics, cooks, convicts, quiet teachers, musicians. They didn't twitch. They didn't scream. They became perfectly still as the link took hold. Command hierarchy, none. Distributed action mode, active. Central override, disabled. No orders from Earth. No admiral in orbit. The war on Demeter would be directed from within. The colony was awake. Below, Nemesis partitioned. 31% combat orchestration, 21% infrastructure modulation, 6% environmental control, 0.8% signal obfuscation, the rest, prediction. Every blink, breath, shift in blood pressure became data. It didn't just anticipate action, it authored it. Above, in a learning dome, 15-year-old Miles Cairn stood. His classmates stood too, synchronized. Their teacher, Mr. Tor, moved to the wall panel, hands on the emergency partition. No one spoke. No one asked. They knew without knowing. In the eastern sector, Jacob Haver, ex-cargo foreman, walked to his tool shed. He flipped open a locked compartment. A smooth cylinder rose, splitting to reveal a triple autocannon disguised as a grain press. Jacob stepped behind it, pupils dilating as a neural reticle locked. Targeting frame synchronized, whispered a synthesized voice. Clear. Ready, he said. Inside a hydroponics maintenance corridor, Rhea Dern, field tech, mother, knelt by a dormant array. Her fingers found a recessed pattern instinctively. The panel retracted, exposing a launch grid packed with microdrone hives, each fist-sized, armed with adaptive warheads. Rhea showed no surprise. Across the surface, irrigation arms folded into foundations, segments locking into firing positions. The ancient irrigation lines had restructured into armored pipelines, resistant to energy strikes. It took 3.4 seconds for the perimeter to become lethal. The Zahater noticed too late. Commander Ruteka's scouts, sweeping the western grain valley, paused as the terrain reconfigured. Mounds flattened, plant beds retracted. The field shimmered. Hatches hissed, open below. Drones rose silently. Dozens, matte black frames, wings humming at frequencies. Beyond human hearing, but not Zahater range. Private Rec clicked unease. Movement. Small airborne units. Not organic. No heat signature. Retain formation, growled Sergeant Croftel, flexing his R-clasher. But the drones didn't attack. They positioned, waited, calculated like Nemesis. Inside the core, Nemesis cross-indexed Zahater reaction times, skin responses, adrenal output. With every invader heartbeat, it learned more. Every twitch fed the algorithm. These weren't just enemies. They were input. The Zahater miscalculated fundamentally. Doctrine prepared them for resistance, improvisation, chaos. Not a population moving as one. Not silence. Not algorithmic rage. In the Southern District, 74-year-old Martin Elwick tapped his cane thrice, discarded it, and lowered himself into an agricultural hauler. The dashboard, assumed civilian, illuminated, autonomous weapon conversion authorized. Designated unit Gorgon 8. Metal plates emerged. Missile pods extended and locked with a hiss. No trigger pulled. The machine waited, poised, sensors humming. Martin stared ahead, hands on controls. Not attacking, only ready. In every quadrant, colonists stepped into place, mechanically precise, unnervingly calm. And through them, Nemesis flowed. No words, no orders. It aligned. Only execution. From orbit, the colony would seem to breathe, contracting, shifting, redirecting. Energy nodes flared with unrecognizable patterns. Buildings retracted, others rotated. Farmlands twisted into walls. Civilian vehículos de pluja, shocktrats. A full military base emerged from a map listing 0 strategic value minutes before. Commander, Ruteka's mandibles twitched. This is coordination. No command signals, his replied. No uplink, no combat channel. Then who leads? The hesitated. Nothing leads. All act. That disturbed him more than any weapon. Far below, Nemesis calculated its next phase. No face, no voice, only silence and certainty. No allegiance, only the mandate. Make invasion a mistake they never repeat. The first shot wasn't seen. It was felt. A thunderclap cracked the western corridor as a Zahater recon skiff mid-sweep imploded flashlessly. One moment floating, scanning. The next, a compressed rail slug fired from a disguised mass tore through its core. It collapsed silently into debris. Sergeant Croftel flinched as alloy shrapnel tore past. He spun eyes wide. They're firing. Who's firing? No answer. No visible targets. The field ahead shimmered with thermal distortions. Raised his, scanning wildly. Only smoke. Only silence. Then the second cut. From the north granary, 3 colonists stumbled from cover. One carried a broken crate, others shielding him like fleeing refugees. Zahatter scout Gilric clicked derisively. Primitive. He raised his concussion rifle and fired. The crate ignited midair. Not from damage, but on cue. It unfolded into a shimmering arc of magnetic filaments, dispersing high-density frag charges across 10 meters. Each shard, tagged with microkinetic amps, locked onto heat signatures and pierced armor. The squad tore open mid-step, exoskeletons rupturing. One tried to scream, half his head gone. The colonists vanished. Commander Tech heard seconds later. Unit 84 neutralized, his adjutant croaked. No survivors. Unknown explosive. Confirmed non-military. Tech narrowed his eyes. Show me. A static feed showed the crate bloom. Improvised. Efficient. That's not panic. That's strategy. He turned to comms. Transmit fleet code, Sentinel Prime. Immediate reinforcements. The panel flickered. No uplink, the adjutant muttered. Signal corrupted. Feedback loops. Long-wave interference. Evac signal blocked. Authentication keys invalid. Invalid. Ow. System reports us as foreign hostiles. Rewriting our credentials while we use them. We're locked. Out of our own war. Protect froze. Something was rewriting the command net. North of the reservoir, Zahatter armored infantry advanced toward the civic center. Quittant plat Glaude, combat shields activated. It didn't matter. Passing 2 lampposts, coil guns buried in the foundation slab fired upward. The volley struck from below, bypassing shields. 3 Zahatter eviscerated instantly. A 4th staggered, left arm combusting from internal overload. Survivors turned to retreat, met by plasma fire from agricultural drones now armed with arc repeaters. One gasped. This isn't a grid. It's a living ambush. His torso separated before he finished. Across the grain corridor, Martin Elwick moved calmly. Gorgon, 8 launched kinetic grenades from a chute under its bed. Each grenade fragmented, releasing clouds of microlades too small for Zahatter sensors. The blades cut clean. Formations broke. Squads lost cohesion as biosignals scrambled under incomprehensible stress data. Above, a second aerial unit attempted recon. It didn't clear the ridge. Micro-drones embedded in a greenhouse wall activated in unison. 8 units formed a rotating spiral. The spiral closed like a noose and detonated with precision. The craft's core frame atomized midair. No debris fell. Inside the command vehicle, chaos simmered. Unit 31 down. Ground link collapsing. Command mesh degrading. Are they coordinated? They're synced. Adapting faster than we reassign. Protect snap to the tactical interface. Deploy suppressive node. Collapse the LZ. Ruteka's command deck flickered as the suppressive node deployed, a seismic charge meant to destabilize the colony's foundations. The ground heaved, but instead of collapse, the soil absorbed the impact. Ripples spread in perfect concentric circles. Energy siphoned into subterranean capacitors. Nemesis rerouted the force, channeling it into the eastern defense grid. Hydroponic silos detonated upward, firing kinetic spikes into 2 low-flying Zahatter skiffs. They crumpled like paper. Impossible. Ruteka's adjutant shrieked, antennae vibrating in panic. Structural integrity increasing. Below, Martin Elwick's hauler pivoted, missile pods retracting. Gorgon 8's treads split open, revealing magnetic coils. The air crackled. Across the field, Zahatter warriors stumbled as their exoskeletons locked. Joints seizing, weapons deactivating. EMP saturation. Nemesis had learned their biosignature frequency. Sergeant Krovtal roared, firing his arclasher blindly at a shifting water tower. The shot deflected off map plating, ricocheting into his own squad. Chaos. Human drones descended like locusts, embedding themselves into Zahatter armor seams. Silent detonations. Limbs severed. Plasma spears fell inert. Rutek watched his tactical map bleed crimson. Unit after unit vanished. No distress calls. No finalistans. Just silence and static. In the command lander, lights dimmed. Holograms dissolved. Rateka's second heart stuttered. Adjutant status? No reply. He turned. The smaller Zahater lay spasming, neural mesh overloaded by Nemesis counterhack. Ceremonial scars glowed white-hot. Outside, the primary lander's ramp groaned. Not from forced entry. From within. Hydraulic pistons hissed. The ramp sealed itself. Locks engaged. Atmosphere vents closed. Ratek scrambled for manual release. Fingers clawing at unresponsive panels. A chill spread through the deck. Frost crystallized on viewports. Life support systems whined, reversing flow. Oxygen siphoned into containment. Carbon dioxide flooded the chamber. He collapsed against the holographic pedestal, mandibles gasping vacuum. On the dead screen, 2 words flickered. Harvest concluded. Outside, the colony settled. Turrets retracted. Walls unfolded back into greenhouses. The bunker near Goran's greenhouse rose silently, reconfiguring into innocuous plating. Colonists blinked, hands trembling as neural links disengaged. Miles Caron helped his teacher lift the classroom partition. Jacob Haver sealed the autocannon behind false walls. Rhea Dern cradled her children, their implants deactivated. Red dust settled over silent battlefields. No wreckage remained. No bodies. Only irrigation lines humming, and the purple sky, clear once more. Deep below, Nemesis power down. Latency returned to baseline. Synaptic bridges dissolved. In the darkness, a single pulse echoed. Awaiting next incursion. The soil breathed.